Louis, a little more groundwork I'd be interested in is what do you think of as your philosophical or religious approach to the world generally? Like, do you have an overarching um, uh, school of thought or religion that
Not so
guides
much
you?
religion and probably not one philosophic school of thought that I could point to, but I think when I think about what it means to be human, what it means to be an individual. So I think in the West, particularly strongly, we have this idea that you're this individual one thing first, and then you enter into relationship second. So first, like I do this work on myself and I become who I am. And I'm kind of simplifying this a little bit, but then I go onto the world and I make relationships, right? So individuality is first, relationship is second.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's upside down, right? I think you come into the world, you're actually born already related to, right, a mother that nurtures you. You're born into a culture, into a language. You're already related to that. You're already in relation to the world around you. So as a kind of general orientation, I would say that relationship is first is kind of hard, but but it's not certainly not second, right? So it's in that interplay between you and all these relationships that you only come to be and continually become to be who you are. So again, I think there's this idea, you see it a lot through like, in literature in the West that I'm going to go off on my own and find myself. And you may find some version of yourself, but again, you take those relationships with you wherever you go. So as a kind of dominant philosophic thought, I would say that relationship is primary, right? And so then when I think about detachment, you can't really detach. You're always related, right? And there's no way that I can go off and detach. Even that whole idea, that romantic idea of I'm going to go off into the woods and find myself. That's a Western romantic idea, right? So that's something that I find in the culture. I mean, you look at Walden, right? I mean, Thoreau is probably one of the great exponents of that. I'm going to go off and so even that whole move, I think, is something that we've learned growing up